Good seeing you.
Hi guys, how you doing? All right. All right, so we are all set. As you can see, we had Mark and Tim Corcat here, and they're off. So you got some background noise happening over there. You okay?
It's one of those swivel chairs that don't stop moving. So I'm gonna plant my
All right.
foot.
Okay. All right, cool. So we're live. little bit of a warning there. Bye guys, take care, have great travels. Okay, wonderful. So let's see if we have anybody else on here. We got Josh, Damaris, Dale, Michael, Dan, Corey, John, Christelle, Sarah.
Cozy.
Woo, Hosey. Okay. All right. So does everybody see my screen? Yes? All right, cool. So Crystal's actually she's here because she works with our marketing members and their sales team within our platform on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just actually showing you how the platform works, it seemed like it'd be better fit to have Crystal here so she can show you how she teaches her sales associates how to utilize the platform on solving major challenges that usually happen within the industry on several different platforms.
Right.
Also, Josh is here because he is one of our accountability specialists as well. So like him and Crystal, and they're both trainers. They're both on the platforms. They're both working with sales people all day long. So
that's what we do.
So basically, this is the platform that we use. What you're looking at right now is our MSP's contact, our MSP's platform. And at a glance, you're going to see all of our contacts. You'll see all of our campaigns that we've done, all of our automations that we've created, and any activity here. Easy to toggle and create campaigns from here. But what we're going to do is what I really like about it is the contact section of it. Obviously, not for the obvious reasons of having contacts in there, but the filtering and advanced system that we use is also really great when needing to actually pinpoint who your contact is and their journey is, and actually finding them and being able to locate them right away. Chris, what would you say would be the big difference from other marketing, and you too, Josh, if you want to chime in, what would be the big difference from other marketing platforms versus what we use today?
I would say that I ran into a couple marketing platforms, right? I think depending on the investment you want to make. One of the things that I do love about our active platform is, and somebody brought it up earlier, is the lead scoring feature. And I think that that's what excites Brandy and I, is that if you do have even as little as a couple hundred leads all the way to thousands of leads like we do, the hardest part from the sales standpoint is, how do I follow up with all these leads? Because there's no way, right, that I can follow up with 4,800 leads effectively from, contacting all these leads all at once. So in the midst of all the opportunities we're working, the networking groups that we're going to, there's no possible way to do that. So what I love about Active is that it does have a lead score feature where simply it adds certain point values to different engagements the prospect takes. So you can actually set up whatever that score is. So for example, I think we have it set to 30.
Mm-hmm.
When a contact reaches the 30-point value, regardless of how they get there, that's considered a QCP for us, which is a qualified considered prospect. And it sends out an automatic, there's nothing manual about it, but an automatic email notification to the salesperson that this is a warm lead. I think that's the biggest distinguisher is out of all these almost 5,000 leads, which ones are the warm ones versus which ones are the cold ones, and what's going to be the best use of my time.
Right, exactly. So these managed scoring, what's really great about this is your back end part of it. You're setting this up on the back end. The contacts are getting these points on a one-time basis. So what that means is they've hit a campaign, if they open a campaign that you sent out, they're going to get points for that just one time for that specific campaign. So what we've done, we've set up automations on top of that, because what if they've opened it once or twice or 3 times? If they're doing different activities, they're going to get additional points. So the back end part of it is just to apply the points one time per specific campaign or per specific form or per specific automation. So this is the one-time lead scoring rules. So this is your master rule setting pretty much. The other feature I really love about it are the tags. Oftentimes other platforms, they utilize lists and you have constant lots of lists. Well, instead of having so many lists, you have maybe the condensed amount of maybe 4 to 5 lists that has your master list. You have your, for us, we have our academies, our webinar lists, any kind of campaigns that are going out. But the tag part is the other really great feature because you can filter out the contact based on the specific tag that you've given them for a specific activity. So if you had a webinar rolled out, you want to go ahead and tag them as registered for a webinar, and then you can filter out for that. So in this case, you'll see here that we've got engaged tags, and these are all of my contacts that are the most engaged here. This is a really great tag to have specific targeted campaigns. So these are the people that you know for sure are opening your emails, are reading your emails, are clicking your emails. And if you want to just have a more specific campaign towards them, instead of going off of all your list, you can do that here. This is our disaster recovery plan inquiry. They're tagged specifically for that. So this is just another way to go in and see those contacts quickly without going to the filtering system on where those tags, who those contacts have to it are attached to which tag.
And I think what's great to that point too, Brandy, is that it goes off of like a behavioral marketing system, right?
Absolutely.
We're not just throwing out general marketing to all of our contacts in this database. It's based on their engagement, and not only based on the quantity of engagement, but based on the specific items that they're engaging in. This is kind of like that click cut funnel approach. How often they're engaging with us back is how often we should be engaging back in our marketing, and will help us out with the content to hopefully create, some interest to book some, first appointments.
Exactly. So this is your dashboard of the contacts too. What's really great about this is you can actually filter out by the activity score, which is what Crystal was talking about with the lead scoring of being 30 or over. And you want to see all of those people at a glance. Your event activity score, your online activity score, all of that has a filtering system that you just click on. And then you can also change your dashboard so you can see everything at a glance that you need to see. What's important to you? Maybe an email or company name is more important versus the company type. And maybe you don't want to see the website domain up here. So you can uncheck all of that and basically just filter out to what is important to you. You can filter out by the tags here. You can also filter out by the list, and you can also do an advanced search here. Now, what's really great about the advanced search is that you can actually start filtering out by their actions. So if you want to see if someone is in a specific list, or if they've opened a specific campaign or has clicked on a link, and let's just say he's clicked on our last campaign, let's see if they've clicked on this link here. Then you do a search, and that will actually bring up all of the contacts who actually perform this specific action that you want to see, which is also really great. So again, it helps you target and get down into specifics when it comes to reaching out and sending campaigns out to new people. Now, going into campaigns, this is where we set up all of the campaigns that go out to all of the clients. We have, as I mentioned before, we do set up our content calendar for 3 months in advance. Every month we have a specific topic, and then we break it down into 4 different topics, which I've talked about in our webinar, and I've talked about throughout the academy. And then we strategize on what those specific topics, what those social media posts are going to be, what they're going to be about, and then we scheduled out the whole 3 months in advance. So that's basically the goal. Obviously, things get in the way sometimes and delays happen. So it happens with everybody, but that's our process here.
But with that being said, I believe Active allows you to pre-schedule everything, right?
Yes.
In draft mode, right?
Yes,
So
you
if you
can.
knew that, you're going to be very busy at the beginning and end of every single month, you can pre-plan, pre-delay out all of your marketing content to auto send on certain dates.
Yep, exactly. And it looks like I'm right in the middle of our marketing team getting ready to prepare and send this email out. So I'm not going to touch that one for now, but we can go in and view the reporting to the last email. And the reporting is really, really great too, because you can see at a glance your open rates, your click rates. You can see here what your message was that you sent out. So if a contact did become interested within that specific campaign, you can see what the message is about before you give them a call, so you know exactly what you're going to be talking to them about. Again, and here's a good way to also share everything socially. So if you want to go ahead and put some more content on your social platforms, all you have to do is go in here and share your blog. Pretty easy there. Here's your open and reds. And then you can also filter by the times they opened. These are the contacts that you want to also see, like they've opened 3 times, 2 times. And again, remember, that's where we're saying if they've opened multiple times, you definitely want to keep track of that. But at the same token, you don't want to save those points either. And so anyhow, let's see, the other tool I like about this is the geo targeting tool. So this actually goes in a time lapse of when you're where your emails are being opened at. So yes, we're in Bakersfield, but it looks like we may have either companies with remote workers, or they're on vacation, or they're opening, you know, they moved, you know, whatever the case may be. But if I wanted to go ahead and get a little more detailed, I can click on California, and then I can click on Bakersfield. And then now I can go down and retarget these specific clients for a specific campaign. So like if I wanted to do a dark web scan specifically to these people, this is who I would market to. I would send them a letter, send them some promotional material and an email, follow up that way. And Josh had some really great experience with the dark web scan campaigns. You've had a lot of positive deals happen from that. Speaking of dark web scans.
Yeah, honestly, as powerful of a cybersecurity tool as it is, and it goes without saying, if you're in the MSP space today and you don't have a dark web scan solution, you better get one. But I got to say, my mind was blown when it was suggested to me. They were beta testing the original campaign of using dark web scans as a prospecting tool. And it was shocking, the type of conversations, the type of interactions that you would get by just, you know, being so candid as to do a dark web scan, of course, find information there. There's always compromised records. And then Chartec built an awesome campaign around sort of a partial information, glimpse of value, kind of a letter campaign. And all it simply did was let the customer know, hey, here's the implications of having credentials on the dark web. Oh, and by the way, here's just a little snapshot of people you might know who are affected by this. And it was wild. You want to talk about getting past the gatekeeper, getting past the gal at the front desk when you're, you know, doing door knocking. It was shocking. It provoked a lot of conversations, got a lot of first appointments, and it was great too. And something that I get asked a lot, and I think kind of some of this will be alluded to, you know, sometimes when you look at these lead scores and these leads, you're thinking, well, now what do I do? What do I do next? They're a hot lead. What are they looking at? What are they clicking on? Sometimes, frankly, the best answer is you market to them again. You send them another touch, another message. You continue down the path. And what I found is in a lot of cases, a dark web scan was the next best perfect next step. They had already been exploring your marketing. They'd seen some of your branding. They'd engaged with some of your campaigns. Well, now all of a sudden you're on your doorstep and saying, hey, Mr. Business Owner, by the way, look what I've got. And it was very powerful. I would encourage all of you to consider doing that.
Thank you, Josh. And I believe that campaign is available on Core.
It is. It's under our dark web campaign. So we've got, I think now, an upwards of up to about 25 different campaigns. There's 3 to 4 different emails and blogs for each campaign. And to Josh's point, what I love about that campaign too is that we have added that extra touch, that certified letter that Josh was talking about, with that small screenshot of a little bit of the dark web compromise findings on it. It's sent out certified, right? It's not a postcard. It's not a hard letter that can just be thrown out. They know that they're receiving something important in the mail when they receive something like that.
And there's some scripts that are available within that too.
Absolutely.
I don't think I heard that mentioned, but there are scripts that were actually written by Alex.
Right.
We scrubbed all the profanity. It's okay.
We made sure.
So if we
all the
missed
F-bombs
one,
were gone.
maybe.
But so going back now, Josh, let me ask you this. You actually transitioned over from what was the they call it Confusionsoft or something like that?
Infusionsoft.
Yeah, I think the Russell Brunson guys get credit for that. And listen, the name, there's a reason they call it that. And I have worked with a lot of platforms. I've done things like Constant Contact, 360 Mailer, whatever, and Infusionsoft, and they all have their place. And, you know, I guess that's the thing, being on like the customer side of this, is that there's no one magic silver bullet out there. There's a lot of ways that you could do marketing well, but I have to say that this system, the Chartech system, being as intuitive as it is, and the lead score, I mean, you can't say enough about that. It's just, it makes it so easy to know when you need to engage with somebody who's been looking at your marketing. I mean, for all of us salespeople who we're very squirrel focused, on to the next thing. We don't necessarily want to be wading through all this data and stats and figures. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very important, but we want to know when to act. We want to know when is the next step. And for me, that's huge. And you're not wrong. And Fusionsoft it's very powerful. It's out there, but it's very also what I would call blank canvas. I mean, you almost have to have a freaking PhD in automation and how to deal with it. It's like an act of Congress to get in and get something made and changed. Once it's up, it works pretty okay, but I got better things to do with my day. And when Brandy first showed me this, I was like, oh, 8 or 10 mouse clicks. Okay, I can live with that. The simplicity, there's something in the simplicity, I guess you could say.
And then going into automations, this is where we're at right now. So we actually, when a client signs up for one of our marketing programs, we actually set this up in advance for them. But to show you how easy it is to use and set it up yourself with the different automations, I'm going to just show you a couple of them, and then I'll show you quickly the ease of it of creating one. There is some creativity behind it. You got to understand where you're going with it. You got to first think what your objective is and what your end goal is. And then you have to think how you're going to build that automation to reach your end goal at that point. So what is your intentions with this automation? Is your intentions to see how many people visited this specific web page? Because that is probably the most important product or service like MSP technology, or that's one of the IT services is your specific page. You want to see how many people are visiting this web page for how long. That is the objection for this specific automation. So seeing who is visiting our MSP technology, our MSP page, and how long they're browsing for. We give them a point for browsing for 30 minutes, and then we remove the tag that's the current browsing session. So let us know what is happening with them. And we wanted to see how many contacts have actually entered this automation. We would go here. This is a fairly new automation that I created. So you may not have any because I literally just created it last week, but going back into, let's check out another one. Let's see here. So let's see for the email opens. So for every person that opened an email, remember we have that master lead scoring rules on one end. So they get 2 points no matter what if they open an email, but then if they open it again and again and again, they're going to get another 2 points here. So we can view the contacts here to see who's opened the email and how many times. So we've got 259 here, and then now we go into their scores. Well, for example, this guy who pops out at me who has got 24, a score of 24, is almost to that 30 mark. I'm going to be curious and click into him and finding out where exactly he's going, what his journey is. So going into the contact now profile, you can actually see all of his activities. You're going to be able to see any campaign activity specifically. So when he opened, what he clicked on. Okay. Then you'll be able to see any notes or emails, any automations that he entered. What's also really great about this tool is that not only will you be able to see all of their profile, you'll be able to see their lead scoring, you'll see their tags, their lists that they're in, any automations, but you can actually email them from here. You can send them an email right here. You can add a note and add a task. So if you wanted to add a task to yourself, say, okay, I want to follow up with this contact every 3 days until I can get an appointment. You know, you can add these tasks for yourself and send yourself an email and a notification so that you make sure that this contact is top of mind. And I'm not sure how other, I've used Salesforce before and I've never had that with Salesforce, and I've used MailChimp before and I didn't have that with MailChimp. And I don't know how the other platform you use, Josh, because I've never been in there. But some of us, we use ConnectWise as a CRM, right? Or Autotask. So if you don't have that and you are using Salesforce or you are using MailChimp, you can do this all in one. And I don't know, it's been a while since I've used them, so I don't know how intuitive they are now these days, but you can send them an email straight from here. You can add a specific note that you contacted the client, the prospect, and all of that will be saved here. So it's very easy. It's just unsubscribing them and subscribing them, adding them to a certain list if you need to add them to a list, and remove them from a list. And that's what you would do, is just click on here and then click on unsubscribed or confirmed or whatever it was that happened there. So we also have the automations that are 30, 60, 90. And I'll let you explain that one, because that's something that we came up with together during one of our meetings.
Yeah, so again, so these automations are what point value do they need to reach to signal sales that it's time to reach out, right? So, but what ended up happening is something to keep in mind when you work with any marketing platform is that, okay, so what happens when they do reach that score of 30? Right? That score just continues to get, higher and higher and higher, but then we lose track of that engagement and the history of that contact. So we, recently, implemented, right? We don't want to lose track of that contact. So what we did is we did it in intervals of 30 points, right? So if we see increased engagement, right, and maybe we weren't able to, contact the, our main point of contact from the first round of calls and emails, right? But it might be worth, that second round if they're continuing to engage back and they're looking at our content. So we created a 60-point interval. So once they get to 60 points, it's going to queue up another notification for sales to reach out, as well as for 90 points as when they reach 90 points as well, it's going to queue up another notification. So that way we can, stay our contacts, our most engaged contacts, we can stay top of mind to us so we don't lose sight of those leads.
Mhm.
I'll say this just in case anybody's thinking the same thing I was the first time I saw this, and I'm looking at all these arrows and bubbles and I'm going, what the hell is all of this? The best part of all of this and what you get for your money this is a done for you deal. And that's one of the things that when Brandy was asking me about setting this up for my MSP, it's like, I want to be hands off or as hands off as I possibly can. I want to trust the program and trust the process. The best part for me when I see all that automation is the fact that you guys are doing the brain work. You guys are thinking about the tasks and things that need to happen. So that programming, that automation is just in there for us. And frankly, just speaking with my customer hat for a second, that's what I love. I don't want to feel like I've got to get a toolbox out and learn to program and learn to build the thing. I'm trusting you guys to do that. And I get to watch it work and see the results. And that's one of my favorite things about it.
Right. And one thing that I do love on top of that as well, Josh, is I do work with, some MSPs that they might not have somebody dedicated to marketing, but they do have somebody that puts together emails on their own, or they want to, put together a very specific campaign, an event launch, a webinar that they're putting together on their own. We make it very easy. It's a very easy platform to create emails on your own. So as far as training, how to create campaigns, how to get emails sent out, we can definitely offer up, some assistance on doing that as well. So you can get as engaged as you want in this platform, or you could be completely 100% hands off.
And what you're looking at right now is me creating an automation. So these are called recipes, and basically they have a bunch of templates ready to go. But to go back and see, maybe you want to create your own start from scratch. And this is what you would do here. And it's as easy as understanding still, what is it that you're trying to accomplish with this specific automation? And, there's triggers. So for every contact that performs a specific action, that's called the trigger. And whether they're subscribing to a specific list that you created or subscribe to a specific form that you're marketing out there on social media, this is where you would start your automation that attaches to that form there. So if you are promoting a webinar, your webinar is going to have a registration form. Then your form is going to go into this automation here that notifies you that you did get a registration. This is of adding your tags, having goals attached to your automation. That comes at the very end if the score changes. So if you want to give that contact a certain amount of points for performing whatever activity it is that you wanted them to do, this is where you would apply that at. So I'm going to get back out. It's pretty easy to do that. Then there's also the nurturing campaigns that you're easily can create. And I'm going to just show you that to go through one really quick. do this one, for example, nurture drip based on frequency. So it'll walk you through it. You see that? So it already sets it up for you. Now you just have to fill in the blanks. And this is where the creativity part comes into play. So if you get started, it'll basically tell you, okay, well, this field, I want it to be the first name. Let's just say it's company name. And so if they do this, they're going to go here. If they don't do this, they're going to go here. And basically that's the whole nurturing drip. So it walks you through exactly what you're going to need to do. And then if this specific action happens and is or is not or does contain or is greater than, again, it walks you through everything that you want to do. And then you hit next. So it's pretty user friendly. But there is some level of creativity required.
Right.
So this is where you would manage messages, but I do want to also go into the Conversations app as well, because we have seen a lot of success with the Conversations app. It's basically the little chat button on your website. And so when people go visit your website, they can literally start chatting with you in real time. Now there's a desktop version of it, and there's also a phone app version of it for Android and iPhone. So if you download that app and someone, goes on your website and starts chatting with you and you have that app, it'll pop up as a text message. So you don't miss any of the chats that come up here. I do see someone may have put in a question up here. Since I'm screen sharing, I may not be able to see it right away. So if you want to, feel free to ask and unmute your mic and ask any questions along the way. It's totally fine. And otherwise, I'll have to just go in there when I'm done screen sharing. Just a heads up. Go ahead,
Randy,
Jen.
that was me. I was agreeing with what Josh had been saying about the layout and how you've done all the brain work behind it.
Yeah.
And I had written agreed.
What do you use
That
right now,
was it.
Sarah?
Right now, I'm a month in at HD Cav, and this is my first event with you.
Oh, great. Welcome.
Welcome.
Wonderful.
Very, very new to this. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. What have you thought of it so far?
It's very interesting.
Okay.
Very
good.
interesting. A lot of information,
Yeah.
and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying learning about everything. All
That's wonderful.
the
Very
different ways everybody's coming together and collaborating because we're all on the same team basically. So
Yeah. And again, and you can join the CharTech MSP group if you haven't already, because everyone there is so helpful. We've had MSPs go on there and say, hey, I have a client in this state who needs this help. Can someone take over this client for us or
Right.
do this job for us? Or if they need help with an agreement that they don't know about or a specific, challenge that they're having, everyone is very supportive in that group too. So I would highly suggest going. Kellen's very, very popular in that group.
Hi, Kellen.
So anyway, this is the chat, the Conversations. And when you go ahead and click in any of these, naturally, you're going to get some spam. You've got bots that are going to hit your Conversations button. So you'll get some funny stuff here, which I'm most afraid to click into some of them because we've had some curse words come across sometimes.
It is, but I mean, it's, when we think about, the world we live in, having the ability to get instant answers to our questions is so important. And if we're not providing that ability for our prospects and our local businesses right now, guarantee it, somebody else is. So, and real life example, I think it was just December of last year, we had a local neurology office here, in Bakersfield that was looking at moving offices. It was like a 3 or 4 person office. So typically not our standard, size and demographic for our client, but they needed a new everything. So they actually found us, through ARC.com, hopped on our webpage, told us that they were looking to make an office move and wanted to find out more about our services. And lo and behold, a month later, they came on board as a managed service client. So it's a no cost aside from the solution, right? And having a solution like Active, but being just available to answer questions is huge in
Mhm.
today's world.
Absolutely. So right now I'm in the site section of the platform. What is really great about this part is that you can actually build a landing page directly within the platform and then have it attached automatically to your automations and your forms, and everything is in sync. But you're probably thinking, well, why don't I just build a landing page in my website? Well, sometimes you just want a landing page that's, you want to get a specific message out, or you want to make it a confirmation page and you don't want to make it part of your website. Those are the reasons why you would use this. So in this case, I'm going to show you two different examples. If you don't have a blog series and you want to start sending blogs, you can
Mhm.
actually do that here. And I'll show you what this one looks like. And this, if I wanted to put it's just a matter of publishing it, putting your keywords and your meta tag. You still have to do all of that, but it prompts you to do that. So this was as simple as just going into the templates and adding in the images, adding in the text. You can drag and drop whatever you need to do here if you wanted to, and it would be here. So if you want to describe to a form, that form would be here. If you wanted to add an image, and basically there's the image you would add. So it's very user friendly. So I'm not sure. I know with and other websites, there's some definitely some coding that could be involved.
Oh, yes. So, which is gibberish in my world, right? So, yes, something like this would be extremely helpful.
Yeah. So it's pretty user friendly. And another case, we actually created a reply. So when anybody responds to one of our campaigns,
Mhm.
I've created an automation that's an auto reply, and the auto reply says, here we received your email and we'll get back to you soon, but go and visit our new AVOS product. And then I would send them to this page. Okay, there's Sawyer. And this is actually his demo on AVOS. And so if they wanted to watch the demo, then they would click here and it would send them to the YouTube page for that. So again, it's as simple as just a very simple landing page, something that you don't want to use all the time. And again, going back to the dark web scan, what if it's just something that you want to do briefly and test the waters before you put something permanent on your website. And this is your form builder, which is also very, very easy to use. What I like about the form builder, so we have a webinar running right now. We have ads behind the webinar, but you can actually start framing this form. You can add logos to this form. But what I want to show you, what's really neat, is that once they hit the submit button, you can have them do one of two things. You can have them open another URL, and this URL happens to be the playback of the webinar. So it's an automated webinar. It is not live, it's continuous. So once they subscribe to the webinar, they come here and then they enter their information, and then they go and they play. The webinar plays for them automatically. Then we have them subscribe to a specific list, and we can add another action like emailing me the results once that happens. Or I can add a tag or add a deal or subscribe them to the list here. If I don't want them to go to that URL, I can just send them a thank you confirmation page for signing up.
Right. And something like this would be tagged to the point values as well,
absolutely.
right, Brandy? So that way, for us salespeople, right? If somebody, signed up for a webinar, they viewed the recording of the webinar, I would definitely want to know about it. I'm going to be, putting together an interest-peaking script to follow up on whatever the content was, the 5 shifts in cybersecurity. So again, making it just that much easier. At the end of the day, marketing, there's so many components to marketing, right? Whether it's blogs and emails and automations and lead scoring. And I don't know how Brandy and her team do what they do. Like they're amazing at doing all of that. So when it comes to sales, right, then it's our job to take all of their hard work and convert them into an actual opportunity.
So you can see here, I'm looking at this and I'm going to say, I want to add the tag register for webinar. And I want to add the tag, the title of the webinar, so I know off the at a glance. Now this tag right here on my lead scoring rules in the back end, it is going to automatically trigger those 30 points for them to be registered to the webinar. That tag
Awesome.
is, so that should have been there. And then the other thing you're going to do is integrate it, so you can actually embed this form into your website here, or you can socialize it and market it with a link, or you can sync it to your Facebook page. Now, syncing it to your Facebook page, I think requires you to have over 2,000 followers in order to do that. I've noticed a lot of MSPs do not have over 2,000 followers, but you know, we get there. And so this is how you would integrate the forms into your website, or if you wanted to market it. And so that is that with the forms, and they're so easy to do. Just either you want to create a form, you can do an inline form, a floating bar form that's going to be on your website, floating box, a modal, or if you just wanted to copy another form from before, you say, I love this form, it's a great form, I'm going to keep using this form. Then you can duplicate it and make your changes on the back end. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes when you create a form, you'll notice that you're getting really good responses to that form. Believe it or not, there is some marketing behind the form too. You know, if it's too many items to fill out, too many questions you're asking, you know, what if you don't have the right logo, or it's not positioned right there, you'll see that how your forms are performing, and then you'll go back to your best performed form. That's a tongue twister, and then you'll duplicate it and keep going. So, and then this is your reporting section here. And you can actually go into your contact reports. My favorite part of the reporting is the contact trends. And I'll get to see here oh, look at all those faces. Not this one though, open a red trends. Now, this tells me when to send my emails out. One thing I didn't mention is that there is a predictive sending option, which is only in place inside automations. And so if you have a nurturing campaign going out and you have emails that you want to keep sending out on a consistent basis until your goal is met, you can actually set that to predictive sending. And what the system does, the AI does, is it's reading when your contacts are opening their emails. Obviously, there's people who open emails late, early, throughout the day.
Mhm.
Well, the bot will actually put down what day and time they're opening it, and it'll send that email when they open their inbox. It'll just pop up. So that's called predictive sending, and that's only available within the nurturing series of the automations, which is going to be added soon toward the campaign area, but it's not added yet. But manually, if you wanted to send an email, I'll say you're working over the weekend and you're like, you know, wow, that my open rate is high at 8 a.m. on a Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and schedule this email for that day. So like me,
That's cool.
I work lots of evenings.
There you go.
So scheduling tool is very important to me. And then it pulls lots of other reports. It'll pull your deal reports. If you wanted to do a custom report, that is. So yeah, that's totally different. We're getting ready to upgrade this soon. So that's in the works. And then your automation reports. So all automations, it'll tell you which automation is performing well, which isn't. So this is our marketing platform.
I do want to add before I
Mhm.
forget that for those that are ConnectWise users, one of the biggest challenges is now we have two different places where
As you
we're
brought that up.
managing all of our contacts, right? So if I make an edit in one place, I'm gonna have to go back and do double entry in another place. So
Mhm.
we realized that that was a huge challenge for a lot of our
Mhm.
ConnectWise users, because it is for us as well.
Mhm.
So our development team actually created an API that would actually auto sync Active and your ConnectWise database as well. So do keep that in mind, that it's going to be a simple way to keep, you know, data the same
Mhm.
in both platforms.
Right. And this is where you would grab that information, your URL and your keyword to sync it with your ConnectWise.
Mhm.
Are we syncing with AutoTask yet? And that's a Roger question.
I
keep
think it
forgetting.
is in progress, but not deployed yet.
Okay.
It is not available yet.
Thank you, Roger.
Hi, Roger.
Thanks, Roger.
Of course.
I'm sure it was in, people were maybe thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, going into the settings area, this is where your conversation settings would be. This is where you would set up your notifications for those conversations. What the appearance would look like. So I have my face on there right now, but this is on Arc, and you can set this to be whatever you'd like it to be. Any of the colors that match your branding. And if you want to change your welcome message, you can change that here, and it should be Brandy. I'm Brandy. Yeah. Good thing I'm going through this. Okay. Publish. And then you can just change the layout here. This is your automation. And you can add other chatbot automation. So if you want to continue the bot conversation before you can get to them, you can certainly be creative and add more information here. We have had people get confused for the support button and the conversation button. It does happen. We did place the button on the left side and then we put the other button on the right side. People still don't pay attention no matter how much you try to figure that out. So I have a special message in here. If you need technical support, click this link.
Right. If you are a current client and need help, right?
Yeah. So it does happen. So any questions so far about this platform that we used? No? All right. So I'm going to go off to screen share. Let's go into, actually, I don't want to screen share anymore. How do we turn it off? Stop sharing. Here we go.
There you go.
So let me go ahead and move this up here so we can look at them. There we go. All right. So Tina is going to be coming over soon to do Q&A with us, with her. Did everyone here watch Tina's session? Yeah, not everybody, almost everybody.
All right.
I did.
All right, Josh, maybe. All right, good. We're going to do some more prizes.
Okay.
Yeah, for
let's
doing
do it.
a prize.
Yes.
Okay. You can stay here.
That was my.
We'll do one prize, and then you can go, Crystal. You're not.
I'm
off
up
yet.
for it.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
good at giving stuff away.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So we have. It looks like we have a $100 gift card for Auto Elevate. Has anyone visited the Auto Elevate booth yet?
Of course we have.
Dale, Corey, who is using Auto Elevate here?
No.
Nobody yet? Dan's using, okay,
And
Dan.
Matt.
and Matt, okay, great. If you haven't spoken with Todd yet, he's a really, really great person, and Auto Elevate is definitely a great tool. I don't know if Dan, you want to add a little information of how you use Auto Elevate, but I think everyone should probably be using it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Admin
couple
rights.
things that are really key, I think, with Auto Elevate. One is the whole, the concept of the platform of where you can very easily elevate permissions so that you're not giving your end users administrative rights on the machines, causing all kinds of havoc. But the other thing where this comes in, actually just put another client, one of our other Chartec customers onto this yesterday, where they're having to spend a lot of time on site. And so one of those other really cool little things that they have with the Auto Elevate platform is, since there's a little agent on every workstation, not only can you elevate permissions when you need to, but when you're getting pulled in on the customer's workstation, you're that person on site and going workstation to workstation, instead of having the argument, oh, I can't put my time in, updating a ticket. You can do that right from their desktop, simply right click, add a time entry, update the ticket, and it pulls all that together as you're going workstation to workstation. So it's a great tool.
Thank you, Dan. All right, we've got Tina up here, but go ahead and
All
hit
right.
that button. Let's give this card away. Oh, Sawyer is here. So if you guys have questions for Sawyer, I can drag him in here too.
Let's just bring it. It's gonna be a party.
Go ahead, come up here. Michael Lerner. Are you present, Michael? Yeah, I see.
He is.
His name.
I see the name too.
I know.
Yay, there you are, Michael.
I think this is Michael's first time at Academy virtually, right? And at
Yes.
Academy at all. So, hey,
Yes.
good luck.
Yay, look
Learning
at
some
you.
Thank
stuff,
you.
winning some money. Awesome.
Wonderful.
Congrats.
Congratulations. All right, did anyone have any questions with Tina's finance? You, by the way, your resource you gave was insane. I'm so proud of you for that. Dude, no one has
Well, thank
clicked
you.
her resource yet in the digital workbook. You should click it. She gave you a lot. If you watched the finance
Yep.
session, right now it's a good time to ask any questions on how they run the finance department for the MSP. And of course, here Sawyer, with your project, you had your project management session today, your project
Yes.
process.
Well, a lot of it too with Tina. I mean, projects and accounting, we're hand in hand. I'm in Tina's office constantly, whether she wants me there or not. So
Yeah. Right. So at what phase of, when you're transitioning from break fix to MSP, at what phase do you realize you need to have your own finance department?
when you start getting into, I would think things like recurring
Yeah.
costs.
As
because
soon
it's-
as the
yeah.
recurring happens, that's definitely when we step in and we're hand in hand
Mhm.
throughout the whole entire process.
Mhm.
We're like, for ARC, I'm in the agreement process from the get-go. So as soon as our team has gone on site and they've presented, I'm involved.
Yeah.
So I know what agreement they're going to be presenting. I know what agreement they're handing out, what agreement they're going to actually be signing. And I'm in that process, whether or not there's legal involved or not. I'm in it all the way. So I definitely want
Well,
to
yeah.
say it from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely from the beginning. I mean, I bring you in even before during discovery sometimes,
Mhm.
just to get an understanding if the client potentially is going to be profitable. Because sometimes as an engineer, you want to fix everything, and then sales we want to sell. Whereas we have to bring Tina in as the voice of reason to make sure that it's actually profitable.
Teamwork, right?
Yeah.
Can you sell? Can you manage? Are we making money?
Yeah. And
Right.
then sometimes it flows the other way where Tina will bring me the tough conversations I have to have with clients, which is, upping agreements or putting them back in alignment with their current agreement, and the conversations that have to happen from that, because Tina will catch things during her auditing process.
That's right.
Mhm.
So
Yep. And then at the end, if we are doing any type of break fix, I'm only in it at the end. So basically, once the work has been accomplished, then the tickets have been moved and closed through our service team, projects team, and then I'll come into it to make sure that the finance side has been wrapped up, and whether or not there's actually an opportunity we can pass on to another department to make them a reoccurring client.
well, and I think particularly with ARC, you're integral into the efficiency of our operations and redefining some of the policies and structures and best practices we use internally so that we can make the process easier for everyone. Because I know for me, the biggest challenge has been learning the sales process.
Right.
Whereas if I had to figure this out on my own, there'd be no way. I'd be giving things away for free, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Hey, Tina, I'll add a comment as well. Another key that Tina's involved with is from a sales standpoint, when sales has closed an opportunity and they've put that opportunity has been put into play, and then that goes into that project. She's also making sure that the net profit on that project is going to line up with the net profit on the opportunity, because we pay off of the net profit of the project, not what the salesperson with their maybe altruistic or they're very they might have been a little overzealous on how much profit they thought it was going to be. So being able to have that alignment for payout of commissions is critical to do that correctly. Otherwise, you find yourself paying out on stuff that never happened.
Which
Yeah.
we pay
Very
out,
much so.
yeah, which is why we pay out on profit of labor, right?
Yeah. Which is why we need Tina to make sure it's correct.
I think I still have opportunities I need to put in. It's not Friday
Which is why
yet.
you're not getting paid.
I know.
So we actually, a question came up on your session, Sawyer, on the discovery tool
Mhm.
that you were using. Besides, he says from another vendor that ARC uses for network discoveries, would we be able to get the name of the tool? I know that a few tools out there like Auvic, Domotes, and
Mhm.
NetCrunch, but I don't believe I heard the name of ARC. So I was unable to tag Sawyer in the chat
Ah.
here.
The tool is our engineers and then working out an agreement with the client. We don't use anything particular. It's a homebrew kind of process we have. We will put a device on the network, and this is with their, the client agreeing and things like that, that we have remote access to. That gives us more time to be more aggressive when it comes to trying to get into switching equipment, servers, things like that. It's just remote access. We have unattended remote access whenever we're doing that.
Okay. Are there any other questions before we go into disaster recoveries with Roger?
Yeah, Daniel, can you figure out how to clone Tina and send the clone over here?
Yeah.
Well, there was.
I'll take that as a no, but that's okay.
I'm sure she could reach out to you and
What was
see
that?
Any advice? that you may
Yeah,
need,
definitely.
right? Send
Any
you an
help?
email?
Actually, a couple of our members, I've completely restructured all of their accounting processes, and obviously they do their work on their end, but I'm on weekly calls with them, and
Mhm.
I'm on weekly Teams meetings with them, so we can virtually see exactly what they're doing and how they're processing it. So we can definitely set you guys up with some time with me, and we can definitely make that happen.
Mhm. And the best way to do that would be account manager at chartech.net. And your account manager will go ahead and set up that time with Tina. So
Yep.
no problem at all.
I call dibs on the clone though.
Tina as a service.
Taz.
Seriously, when I was listening to her talk earlier, I was going, man, if they could bottle this for MSPs, that's lightning in a bottle right there.
Absolutely. Well, that's why, and this is why we do this. We have these academies so here so that we can help you through everything that we've learned and all of the mistakes we've made, and so that you don't make those too. Pretty much. Anything else?
I'll add another comment on the question of additional tools. A couple of the things that the engineers, I did kind of had a conversation with some of the guys who were doing some of those, when we can't use some of our preferred tools. Some of the things they have in their toolbox, everybody has something different when they're doing it, but we do use advanced IP scan, and we use Land Sweeper, which does an SNMP scan, so we can get in there, use that on portable device. Also, if you're Android, not to bring up the Android versus Apple thing, if you get access to their Wi-Fi network, then there's several tools that we use there with the ping tools, IP tools, the Wi-Fi analyzer, a tool called Fing, F-I-N-G, and DSploit. Those are a couple that we will use sometimes, and sometimes the guys will also, kind of as a test when we're going in initially on doing a discovery, is just asking somebody randomly before they know who we are, what we're doing. Hey, what's the Wi-Fi password? And get their cell phone onto Wi-Fi, and then find all the things that are now exposed that they would give to anybody else walking in the door.
Great addition to that. Yeah.
Awesome idea.
All right. So before we go, I'm going to just lay out the next 3 sessions. We've got disaster recovery with Roger, and then triple play with Auto Elevate. After that, it's a big session with Alex Rogers, finding, training, and retaining a sales superstar. Once that's complete, we're going to come back here for a live Q&A, final Passport Prize giveaway. We're actually going to announce the Passport Prize. So if you haven't visited your sponsors yet, now is a good time to go do that, or watch your sessions, go do it, multitask, because we're going to announce that. We've got a few more sponsor prize giveaways, and then we have the takeaway giveaways. So lots of stuff with our closing remarks. All right, guys, we hope you've enjoyed it. Definitely don't miss Alex's sessions. They're good. They're all good though.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you in a bit, guys.